Technological development requires more copper than we have today, but increasing metal production will also increase the environmental effect. Outotec develops leading technologies and services for the sustainable use of Earth's natural resources. To tackle the challenge, we need new solutions and technologies to improve our processes, to be more efficient in terms of materials and energy, or to look towards recycling.
Mari, something scientifically very important and significant happened in Harjavalta, Finland in 1949. What was that?
Actually, it was important both for a scientific purpose but also something very practical. There was made first trials of flash melting. That was a completely new way of producing copper from concentrate that uses much less energy or electricity that was required by the previous processing methods.
It was up to a third less energy than the previous methods.
At least. I think that the difference could be even more significant.
And what was the scientific foundation behind that innovation?
Actually, the scientific background was clarified in early 19th century, but these gentlemen were the first ones who combined different scientific topics to come up with that invention of suspension smelting and producing copper with that. So it was a combination of previous knowledge in a new and innovative way.
And did they knew in advance that it would work?
I don't know exactly, but I would suppose not, as there has been previous pilot trials for some other research groups, and they were unsuccessful. But somehow those guys were convinced that they know the basics, they have all the elements, and this time it will work.
But it was a huge investment in terms of not knowing the end result.
It was, and actually I think it required quite much support from the company to finance that kind of huge risk. But the reason was that Finland and Outokumpu company at that time, they really required a new technology. That was the post-war era when Finland has lost 1/3 of its electric power. So it was not possible to continue produce copper in the same way. So it was absolutely necessary to develop something, and they have a strong belief that it would work.
But it wasn't a smooth ride. For the first year, they had some really big difficulties.
No, that's the typical story for all process industry. You need some ramp-up time when you do fix the process, improve it a little bit from there and get it work. That's quite typical, but it takes time.
And in the 50s, like you said, we were solving a little bit different kind of problem than today. But today, this technology still is crucial, tackling big societal problems caused by climate change and actually creating new renewable energy.
Yeah, that is exactly correct. We can see that the world's population is growing and we need more metals. And if we think about renewable energy that we are committed to take into use in the near future, it takes on average 5 times more metals than building fossil power plants. And we use more and more electrical equipment and appliances like mobile phones, and even the cars will be electric ones probably. And it all requires copper, much more than we have today. And we have to think about that increasing metal production as it is today will also increase the environmental effect, and that is something that we do not want.
And how do you tackle that?
There are two ways. First one is technology development. We improve processes so we get more out of less. We use more resource-efficient technologies, consume less energy, and the other way is, of course, recycling.
And recycling creates new problems because you have to use secondary raw materials.
Yeah, and they behave differently than the natural raw materials. So basically, you introduce quite many process problems into your process. So it's no means straightforward.
So, but do you have to have two strategies in solving that problem? Because you might find out that the old process doesn't solve those problems and you need a new one. So do you have two processes at the same time?
We have quite many, actually much more than two, and we all the time we evaluate that what would be the most efficient process flow to tackle that kind of raw material, and certain processes are better for that kind of raw material. So there is no one solution fits all, but it is a rather large selection of different options that we use to combine together for the optimal outcome.
How do you feel as a researcher being in this kind of time when it's not just industrial or commercial problems that you're solving, but you're actually solving environmental problems, which are huge?
It is a challenge. It is a different kind of challenge, but I think people who have developed technology, they have all the time faced different problems, and the environment has been one important aspect even before. So in that sense, it is nothing new. The magnitude of the problems could be a new one. We want to support research and technology development. We believe that with this approach, we will make the world a better place.